Can you hear me, Robbie?
I can hear you. I can hear you, Jimmers.
Oh, look at that, man.
Unfortunately, I can hear you. It's just one of those things.
So harsh. Monday morning, we're joined by Cara for the first time. She can be wondering what is wrong with these two lads and why do they just bully each other when they come on telly together. This does go out on telly as well, believe it or not.
Yeah, wow.
So, I mean, look, it is amazing to have Cara with us. And Cara, I always say to everyone who pops on, just put up with Jim. I know, obviously, you know, long term you've joined us, so we're super excited to have you on. And your rugby brain as a rugby presenter, it probably brings a bit more brains as well to this operation around rugby. So we're super chuffed.
Not just me or you, all right?
I'm excited to join you guys. This is really cool. I've been watching the podcast for quite some time now. I'm ready to fit in between you guys.
Any advice for Jim?
Why me?
Look, I know you love Ireland. Yeah. Get that. I get you're a big Irish fan, but I need you to. I'm going to try and convert you to Welsh rugby a little bit, a tiny bit.
I thought I was going.
Right now, but
that was the worst pitch I've ever got in my life. Convert you to being a Welsh fan. I thought you were going to tell me stop being biased, and I was like, all right, fair enough.
I know we're in a bad place right now, but it's going to get better.
And South Africa is just like strictly still at the top. But Cara, you've got a South African surname, and you're currently in Cape Town. We met up on Saturday. We're at the Champions Cup game. Why are you in Cape Town? Like, obviously, it's nice to have you, and I'm sure you're enjoying our beautiful country. But tell us a little bit, maybe why you here? What's the deal?
So it's a pretty full circle moment for me. My brother has moved from one URC side to the other. So he has moved from Ospreys and he has just joined the Stormers Pathway. So it was a great opportunity for me to come out here, experience South Africa for the first time. I mean, the Erasmus surname speaks for itself.
Yeah.
I keep getting mistaken for Razzie's daughter. So he's typed on a few things as Instagram. And people think I'm his daughter. So his daughter actually messaged me and was like, are you related to us? And I was like, I'm not, but I wish I was.
That would be pretty cool. Rassi is your uncle. You should have just said yes and just sort of like got yourself in, you know, to the Rassi house, maybe a Bryan.
Exactly. I want to be invited somewhere at least. That's my goal whilst I'm here.
Is that South African royalty at this stage? The name?
Yeah, look, with the surname of Erasmus, you can pretty much do what you want. It's just be like, look, I'm an Erasmus, especially on a rugby day, at least. Wow. Gets you places.
Exactly. I'm fortunate that my mum kept it, so it's never leaving me. I'm keeping that one for sure.
And tell me highlights of Cape Town so far. What have you been up to?
To be fair, Cape Town itself.
Okay, wait, Cara, quickly. I want you to pitch Cape Town to Jim of your experiences, like what you've done, and then I want Jim to be able to come over and experience the same thing.
Jim, I hate to say it, but Cape Town is a gate-kept secret. The Saffers really keep this one quite quiet. It is probably the best place.
Sorry, there's nothing quiet about South Africans, so I don't believe that.
But I hate to say it, this is definitely the best place I've ever been. And I am not being humble about that. It is genuinely the most beautiful place in the world.
I just imagine walking down the street and they're all just roaring and you go, #1, or how many World Cups do you have? Like, that's all I think about when I think.
Well, if you walk down the high street with your Irish jumper or your British and Irish Lions, you'd be reminded. So maybe just
#1, I wouldn't wear you'd get the same for wearing a British and Irish Lions jersey in Ireland. So I can only wear this at home. Irish jersey, I can take that. But like then again, we are your bogey team, and like South Africa just really struggled to beat Ireland the whole time. Not to mention,
we really struggle to win World Cups and URCs. So it's
reigning URC champions, undefeated at Stadium PA in the Aviva now. We lost in Croke Park.
Won the first URC, unbeaten in the URC. Anyway, we're all going to speak URC this round or this episode. But before we do, we're going to do real life mental fitness, which is cool. Like mental health round. We've got Rob Shotton from LooseHeadz also joining us. Which is going to be amazing, and I'm excited to hear like your guys' insights onto everything, and especially his. Cara and Jim, I think you guys know him a little bit better than I do. But like super excited to get into a chat with him and what he has to say.
Yeah, absolutely. I think my first experience was when he hosted the longest game in World Rugby history, which is no small task, I believe. Not it's literally the world record for both men's and women's. So I played 80 minutes there the weekend and I'm still struggling. So I'm mind playing. Like, well, how long was it?
I think it was something like 32 hours. I could be wrong. We'll let Rob talk about it himself.
Well, speak
Oh,
of
here's
Rob.
Rob. So Rob's
Hello.
not only like the big dog in rugby, but he also just knows his way around our streaming link and just pops in when he wants. Rob, how's it?
Yeah, all good.
That was the most big dog entrance I've ever
listening
seen,
to
by the way.
That was
I was
awesome.
waiting in the lobby, listening to you talk a little bit about the longest game of rugby. Before we get started, I didn't play in that. It was like 36 hours, just to throw that in there. But yeah, it was a wild few days spent in Dublin just before the Lions game against Argentina. A whole host of amazing community rugby players, men and women coming together. I'm still tired from. It was in June. I'm still tired from like looking at them playing that game of rugby.
Can I ask, why did you do it in Mullingar?
So we wanted to do it. We wanted to do it ahead of the first British and Irish Lions game of 2025, which was obviously in Dublin. The guys at Mullingar put their hand up and said that they wanted it at their place, and yeah, it was amazing. The whole community of Mullingar got behind it. We had a lot of sort of volunteers come down. I've actually been on to Mullingar this week and last week because they're creating a LooseHeadz lounge at their club now. So they've built an outside sort of. It looked like a prison to start with, which didn't look great, but now it's got windows and it looks great, and it'll be sort of launched in the next couple of weeks, and we're heading back out there to.
Well, that's arguably probably the only good thing to ever come out of Mullingar. So, not on being Irish, that's any chances I have of going to Mullingar, but yeah, it was incredible. I remember I gave Max Brown a lift to that. So
Wow,
he's just,
what an amazing story, Jim.
All right, Robbie, sound. Leke, as they say, I don't know.
Yeah.
Rob, can you tell the guys a little bit about your story and how LooseHeadz came about?
Yeah, absolutely. I would love to. So first of all, thank you for having me on, and thank you to the URC for organising this and sort of shouting about LooseHeadz in the mental fitness round. But LooseHeadz, to give you my elevator pitch, I guess. So LooseHeadz started 8.5 years ago now. It was a conversation at the end of our local rugby club bar. Most good rugby stories start at the end of the bar, don't they? This one's no different. Three of us, so me, my dad, good friend Dave, talking about rugby stories, rugby journeys, as you sort of do. But more importantly, it was about the people that we met along the way. And it's always about the people, isn't it? We'd all had mates that had what we described back then as a bit of a life wobble. And we felt like we couldn't really do anything positive to help our mates. Typical bloke thing, maybe, patting our mates on the back and saying, "You'd be all right, mate. Do you fancy another pint?" And that doesn't really help. It paints over the cracks. And what we wanted to do was just be good Samaritans and not cross on the other side of the road from this problem that was staring at us in the face. And that problem in the UK, 1 in 4 people struggle with their mental health each year. And unfortunately and tragically, suicide is one of the biggest killers of men under the age of 50 and people under the age of 35. So we knew we had to do something, and you guys on this call know this, and the people listening to this know this, but rugby's a wonderful sport, isn't it? It's got the togetherness and the camaraderie and the connections that you make. You wear the same colour as your friends for life, and it's something that we like to call the clubhouse feel at LooseHeadz, where you walk into any clubhouse in the world and you've instantly got a load of new mates and a family. So that's where we sort of gave birth to the fairly bonkers mission of LooseHeadz, and that's to place a mental health champion at every rugby club in the world. We're now working with just shy of 1,400 rugby clubs in 36 different countries, but essentially using rugby, which is a great sport and a way of life for us people on this call, using the power of rugby and the power of community to do something positive within the mental health space and ultimately to save lives.
Savage. Unbelievable, man. Unbelievable story as well. It's obviously something that's probably close to, I imagine, nearly anyone watching this podcast as well. And I think any of us that will openly talk about it is such an important thing to talk about. So yeah, your work is unbelievable, man. Really, really
Thanks.
big fan.
Yeah, that's incredible. I just wonder, like you mentioned, it's especially for us blokes, a tough thing to talk about, and we generally, like you say, pats on the back and crack on. because of that, how did you find building this sort of thing and this movement? I mean, it sounds like it's gone well. Over 1,000 clubs with the mental health leader at the club, but like, you know, I'm sure there was those sort of moments where you go through and you're like, this is really, really tough, especially just because of the topic of what it is. Like, it is a little bit uncomfortable for guys, especially. How did you go about creating? And I mean, like, it's famous, it's world famous. You know, it's such a remarkable and well-known project. How did you go about getting to that and to where it is now?
Yeah, I guess we started it in 2017, and you know, back then mental health was probably spoken about a little bit different to the way it's spoken about now. There's still such a massive stigma attached to that term, mental health. People tend to sort of run a mile. It's definitely got better and we're on the right path, but there's still a long way to go. In terms of sort of the challenges, I guess, I think rugby is a macho sport, isn't it? Played by macho characters. So people sort of walk across that, you know, white line to play the game of rugby, put on a brave face, and when they come off the pitch and get into the changing room or the clubhouse, they don't necessarily take that brave face off. So it's all about how we can use the power of community, because we all know rugby is a wonderful space and wonderful at the most of the time, a wonderful culture. So it's sort of building something that allows that mental health, mental fitness environment to thrive. But there has been challenges, you know, getting people that are, you know, big scary people on the pitch to actually come off the pitch and sort of talk about their feelings is no easy thing to do. But actually, we've been in the last 8-9 years, we've been fairly surprised in the positive way with the way that this is sort of taken to the rugby community. But it's getting those conversations going on the pitch, at training, in the changing room, in the clubhouse after the game. Community is one of our values. So the importance of community is one of our values, and sort of leaning into that rugby community, that's what we've got to do. And I'm super proud of the community that we have built, but also continue to build. But actually, you know, I think 2020, when we went into lockdown and COVID happened, I think people started talking a little bit more about mental health. People sort of, you know, looked at their everyday routine and sort of took a step away from it, and sort of actually the media started to talk about mental health a bit more. So I think there's definitely, we've taken strides towards the right place. But actually, I said before, some of the horrific stats and stuff around the world, there's still a long way to go.
And you said, like you said there, of obviously rugby is this big manly sport, let's say, of, you know, these gorillas going at each other. What's it mean to yourself and what you've built when the likes of Andrew Porter, one of the scariest rugby players probably in the world, comes out and so openly speaking about his mental health and his struggles throughout his literally whole life, and how he found comfort in rugby in the gym? What's that do for yourself and LooseHeadz, kind of, to be able to talk about it openly and promoting people to talk about their mental health openly?
Yeah, it's massive. Andrew Porter, Joe Marler is another one. Big scary blokes on the pitch, you know, coming out and talking about their feelings and just being human. I think that's, you know, that's what it's all about. It's taking that brave face off. But it's huge for us. It's huge for rugby. It's huge for the conversation around mental health, isn't it? When people like that come out and sort of share their story. LooseHeadz is, you know, primarily based on the grassroots game. But when we get, you know, if you think it's the second team prop who's the life and soul of the party on a Saturday, but actually, you know, goes home on a Saturday evening, Sunday, has their own demons, not really talking about it. How do we reach that person? It's actually through the people like Andrew Porter, the people like Joe Marler, sharing their story and making it acceptable and normal to just talk about their feelings. And that's, it's huge when those guys come out and share their story.
There's often that stigma that it's only elite athletes that struggle with their mental health. But how do you challenge that, Rob, with, I mean, not only grassroots, but fans who might be watching and grassroots players? What do you at LooseHeadz do to kind of challenge that? Yeah,
I think, I guess you're still human before you're an athlete, aren't you? So I guess it's similar, the feelings are the same. Maybe it's just amplified. given the sort of spotlight that some of the athletes are in. But I think talking early is key. So when you identify that something might not be right, it's talking early is sort of key, and not waiting for crisis. I think we speak quite a lot of LooseHeadz around prevention being 100 times better than cure. But basics still matter. It doesn't matter if you're a community rugby player in the 7th tier or you're playing in the URC. It doesn't matter. Keeping on top of your mental health. We'll come on to it, but the mental fitness, the 7 steps of mental fitness at LooseHeadz that we have, I think, it's all the same. It doesn't matter who you are.
And I wonder, just, you spoke about the heads, at the different clubs. What sort of role do they have? Like, what's their practical or what's their gig at the club around the mental fitness and the mental health side of things?
Yeah, sure. So the way that it works is someone in a rugby club will put their hand up and say, I want to be the mental health champion for my rugby club. It's then our job to give them the right tools and resources. Where we've seen most success is where it's actually not just one person, it's a team of people. And we know in grassroots clubs all the way up to professional, but if we're talking about grassroots in particular, they're disjointed places at the best of times. You've got the men's first team, second team, women's team, minis and juniors, people who work behind the bar, the vets, people who come down and watch. So if we can have one person from each arm of the rugby club to put their hand up and be that loosehead, that mental health champion, then that's where we see the biggest impact. But yeah, we give them access to a toolkit. So that toolkit is full of a whole host of different resources. It acts as a bit of a menu. So not everything will work for every rugby club, and we know that every rugby club is different, and that's what makes rugby so unique. But yeah, that's sort of the way it works. We're also trying to get all of our rugby clubs into sort of gold standard now. So we've got a tiered system, so bronze, silver, gold. We're trying to get all of the rugby clubs into that gold category, and that's where we've got some really exciting plans around delivery. So we're working with quite a lot of the unions around the world now to be able to actually have more feet on the ground in rugby clubs delivering. So about 18 months ago, we were getting quite a lot of messages to say, from rugby clubs, basically to say, we've had a mental health incident in our rugby club. So we've gone to a local third-party provider. They've come in and talked to us a little bit about mental health, but actually they've completely missed the mark. And that's because they don't talk our language. They're not rugby people. They get up in front of people and they talk about stuff in a different language. It's not going to hit the same with, we all know what rugby players are like. And what we've created at LooseHeadz is that we're for the rugby community, by the rugby community. So we've gone out and actually spoken to rugby people. What are the challenges you face? How do you want us to deliver this to you? And we've sort of built something that's very bespoke. So we know that, in Wales, for example, in the valleys, some of the challenges will be different to the Highlands of Scotland, which will be different to, what you're talking about before in Cape Town, things like that. So what we're trying to do is actually work with the unions, work with the people who are in those specific regions to actually understand the challenges, but deliver something that's specific and tailored to them. So that's sort of, a long way of sort of saying how we sort of work. But essentially a club signs up and they get access to a toolkit, which is sort of the awareness, the education piece. And then it's, we want to get into that delivery phase, which is step 2. We've also got a virtual online community hub, which we launched last year. So we worked with Capgemini on that, obviously big sort of supporter in the rugby sphere. They've helped us build that platform that essentially brings our community closer than ever before. So all of our mental health champions, all of our clubs are on there. We can talk to them, they can talk to us. But I think what's the most important piece is they can talk to each other. They can share best practice about what works in their rugby clubs, what doesn't necessarily work as well, but essentially how we can pull together, learn from each other, and tackle the stigma.
Sure.
And just to probably touch on that of what you said about coming into clubs in the first place. I know with my own club and at home, it was kind of a thing of where it was something, yes, we'd be open to, but it's actually probably never spoken about until it is unfortunately too late. And there was an incident in our club and our hearts all go out to them. But it's a thing of, in theory, yes, talk about your mental health, give your mates support, ask your mates if you want to go for a coffee, a pint, etc., wherever that is. But if your friend turns out to you and goes, okay, I'm actually not all right, how many of us can properly turn around and help him? And probably the scary part of it, of yes, people are more open to talking about it, but then having the sports in place to actually be able to help someone who is struggling. What's kind of your take on that? What do LooseHeadz do? What's your first steps?
Yeah, a good question. I guess it's that whole thing, isn't it? Talk about your mental health. Yeah, but how?
Exactly.
I think
Great
there's
theory, but when it's actually...
Yeah, I think start small. Obviously, like, don't open with your darkest moments. Talk about how today feels. Don't need to talk about your whole life story. But I think there's also some little things that we do at LooseHeadz. Obviously, what we're trying to do is we're trying to train up one person or a team of people that can be those. I don't want to use the word experts because we're not asking them to be experts. What we're actually trying to do is just get the culture shifted a little bit to be talking about our feelings a little bit more. And we liken it to physical first aiders. For example, if someone breaks their leg on a pitch, a physical first aider will be there to calm that person down, make sure that that person is sort of calm, but be there for that person until the A&E, the paramedics arrive, and that's when they're the experts. So again, these LooseHeadz champions in clubs aren't necessarily the experts. They're there to spot the signs and be there until signpost in the right direction. Be there until the experts arrive. We liken it to that essentially. But yeah, I mean, in terms of how. Obviously this toolkit that we have for rugby clubs, the whole host of the resources there will sort of give these people the knowledge and understanding on how to spot signs and sort of how to start conversations. I think that's the other thing. I told you a little bit about the story and sort of how we started LooseHeadz, but actually to dig a bit deeper on that, the reason my why behind it was my best mate when we were 14, 15 years old, he lost his dad, not to suicide or anything, but just lost his dad. And I saw grief sort of firsthand from that, and sort of, he sort of off track in life, not with a smile on his face. And I wanted to help people like that get back on track with their life and back with a smile and sort of back enjoying life again. But I also wanted to help the people like me, the mates that are sort of feel useless and helpless and not able to say the right things when they need it. And actually, I've spoken to my mate about this in the last few years, and he said, you didn't have to say anything. Just being there for me actually helped me. So I think there's a part of that as well. It's obviously we want to train these people up to have the right knowledge and the right understanding and create kind of cultures and have the conversation starters, but it's also just being there for people as well. And then just the final thing that we do at LooseHeadz, sort of a culture change, I guess, just to start talking about your feelings a bit more. And we've done it sort of every rugby club that we go into, we introduce this. And Cara, you were down at a rugby club that we were at in Australia for the British and Irish Lions tour, and where we did this, and it worked really well. But essentially we get round in a circle, we split off in sort of forwards and backs, and we sort of ask the question, you hold the rugby ball and you pass it around the circle, and it's a simple question. It's how are you out of 10? And you can answer with your number, or you can answer with a number and why you're feeling that way. And you go around the circle, and you sort of the first few people, when you introduce it for the first time, because we're going into their safe space and we seem like aliens to them because we're introducing this new thing to them. They're sort of 7, 8, 9, 10. And then you get further around the circle, and some people start to let their guard down a little bit, and sort of then you get your 3s and your 4s, and just something as simple as that, a check-in before training, and you can do a check-out after training as well, and usually the numbers are higher. But once you get those 3s and 4s, and people don't necessarily need to go into it, it just gives your teammates an opportunity to go and check on that person, put their arm around them and just say, hey mate, you just said you're a 3 or a 4, is everything all right? And again, that happened in Australia. It happened in a club that we were down in Melbourne, and one lad was a 4, and I saw, I wasn't even involved in these conversations, but just saw afterwards, once they were running off into getting involved into training, 3 lads went over to him and asked him if he's all right. So just that, something as simple as that, just can
really opens up the conversation.
People talking and changes the whole culture of the club there.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we see in rugby, we all know that rugby has its highs and lows, but Rob, how would you say that players involved respond to this?
I think really well. I think, yeah, we've been super surprised by this, because when we started it 2017, there was nothing really like this in the rugby space. It was something kind of fairly new and sort of, again, mental health, something that people don't necessarily talk about. But actually, I said it before, I'm super proud of the community that we've built and continue to build. A lot of people, you know, getting in touch with us off the back of launching. They're still getting in touch with us, you know, on email, on social media, just saying thank you, essentially. Something that they were sort of they wish was around a bit sooner. So I think, yeah, in terms of the response, it's been absolutely amazing. We've actually been fairly blown away by the response from our community, and we've now got 50 people with LooseHeadz tattoos, which just goes to show the community that we've built. I am one of those, but I was number 13 and I kind of got bullied.
How you went number 1, Rob? I have no idea.
Again.
How you went number 1 is wild to me.
You know what? It was a guy called Jamie, based up in Newcastle, and he got in touch with us and he said, I need to tell you that. He took a photo of it. He said, I've got a LooseHeadz tattoo there. He said he quit rugby because anxiety got the better of him, and sort of because of LooseHeadz, he got back into playing rugby, and he sort of put it there because he thought, and this is a sad story, but he said if he was ever sort of had suicide thoughts about suicide, and if he ever was to do it, he said he'd think about using his hands to do it. And he said if he put a LooseHeadz tattoo next to his watch strap, he would look down at that and sort of remind himself that he was never alone. And then 2 weeks after that, after he told us that, and we sort of, amazing that we had a LooseHeadz tattoo, his girlfriend got in touch to say thank you, you basically saved his life. And that was right at the start of this journey. And yeah, now we've got 50 people and with LooseHeadz tattoos, and we might do an event where we bring a tattoo artist down. Who knows?
Love it.
Or Robbie might have 53 after this chat. I'll go down to, it'll be my first, but
it was my turn.
But no.
This conversation up to you guys now, Jim and Robbie. How have you guys found navigating social media and the comments and everything like that? How have you navigated that with your mental health? How do you find the balance?
Robbie, which one of us wants to go first here?
You go, Jimmers. You're much bigger than me, bud.
Oh, much bigger. All right. Time for stroke of my ego. Needed that now. In terms of social media of myself and mental health and dealing with mental health, like there's been times where you're like, what am I doing this for? Now, don't get me wrong, the pros definitely outweigh the cons, and I think for my own self, the outlets from social media are the biggest thing. Like the opportunity social media has given me something I'll always be grateful for, and it's something that I'd never turn down or anything along those lines. But the likes of rugby, like training on a Tuesday and Thursday and playing games on a Friday or Saturday, even coaching on Sundays, like my whole week's revolved around rugby. It might sound stupid, like I'm playing thirds rugby, seconds rugby, you know, like I've accepted I'm probably not going to play for Ireland at this stage.
There's a first team cap load in there, Jim. Is that back you, bud?
Do you think so? Yeah. There's fourths and fifths as well.
Just work on your defense.
Sorry. All right.
Just work on your tackle technique.
Loki got better at going into contact, but anyway, that's something we'll touch on after call. We'll have a beer, right? But for me and mental health, I have the best friends in the world. My friends are, I think, personally, why I'd be successful at what I do, because they're the first ones who will give me abuse online or like send something into the group chat of going like taking the piss out of me, basically. But at the same time, I know that they're the same lads that would also go to war for me. And in terms of mental health, as I mentioned, like say we had an incident in the club or some of my friends might struggle. In fairness, a lot of us are open about that, and it's not something that we'd be shying away from. And then you have your days, like in fairness, after the Munster and Leinster game in Croke Park, I got a load of abuse online. Like that was the first time I'd actually opened up the phone. I was like, wow, this is kind of insane. From Munster fans, so you can kind of see why I'm biased at times towards Leinster. But even at that, I know that it's rugby, and a lot of people probably don't realize the actions. And you need to, for myself in here, you need to realize like these people don't realize that they're messaging probably a person, or that I'm going to physically read this message and be like, what in the name of God? Like, thank God I've kind of the head on the shoulders to realize, okay, if you're sending the stadium PA abuse on Instagram, probably time to have a look at yourself. So yeah, I take it handy. I've a simple enough life. I enjoy my pints and rugby. So yeah. Robbie, go.
I think that's how Jim and I get on. It's quite literally my two, or not two favorite things. That sounds bad, but no, I think from my side, comments are not really the thing that bother me. I think when I first started, I wasn't very good, so I didn't get very many comments. And then when the comments started coming in, I was like, okay, well, maybe I'm doing something right now. So it started to become like a badge of honor, But no, I think so comments are not something that generally get to me. I think if I'm thinking mental health, what's that?
I need to be harsher, do I?
yeah, it's a little bit more, Jim. You got it in you. No, I think for me, mentally, it's more sort of energy. Like a lot of my stuff's on the ground, and sort of spread myself quite wide. So where I'm, I guess, struggling, or when I do struggle, it's energy, like getting up for something, especially when it's your job. And like, for instance, you're at the ground on Saturday, and it's like, actually, it's been a long week and everyone's off on a Saturday, and you are bringing energy to fans and that sort of thing. So I think it's more energy, getting up to film videos, as much as it is my job. Sometimes you go like, damn, like I'm not feeling myself today, and I'm not 100% too keen on it. So not comments, but more, like energy, and I guess like also like protecting yourself in like who you give time to, because I do think a lot of people, and not just me, but like want time from you, and I guess it's just about managing that, so you can have your energy for I guess what's important, which is my job through social media. So that's sort of my journey through it, but I guess we're learning, and it's amazing to, like, Rob, just to bring it back to you, have you on here and chat about this sort of thing and the incredible work that you're doing, and like we're very grateful for it, and to have you on and have your time, we're very, very grateful, and we much appreciate it. So thank you so much. We're all going to let you go, speaking of time and energy, and let you get back to the important things that you're doing. So thank you so much. We really appreciate it, and I'll keep maybe I'll be the 51st tattoo.
No, thank you guys. Really appreciate the platform to be able to speak about the work we're doing. Really appreciate it, and superb to chat. Thank you.
Right, let's go into our round 10 preview. What are we thinking, lads?
Leinster, just bias as always. Round 10 is home of the West Derby, kind of, not really with West. Leinster play Connacht, all right? Buzzing for it in the new Dexcom Stadium. The first game played at a new open Dexcom. I know they've played there since, but the stands are going to be full. It's completely sold out. Like, Connacht off a good win against some French side in the Challenge Cup, which I forget, and Leinster after scraping by Bayonne. So I think we're lined up for a great fixture. My bias aside, I am going to it. My family's all from Connacht as well. I'm the only one that's like sports Leinster, so I'm a bit of a black sheep. But on Leinster.
So Connacht will take that one, if you want a professional rugby opinion. And then my pick of the weekend, Stormers Sharks at the DHL Stadium. Probably going to be sold out. I'm sure there is going to be a plethora of Springboks playing. We'll have Sasha Feinberg, Ngomazulu, Damien Willems, all the guys back. Sia Khaleesi, homecoming, coming back to Stormers next year. But it's that's the pick for me. Cara, you're going to be there. We're actually going to do some content there.
We are.
And y'all
this
have a proper
fair.
match
She's escaping the whole Welsh side of things. This isn't fair.
I've had to be adopted by the South African sides, okay? Give me some slack here.
Okay, well, let's
Jim, so the whole thing is like, we've got to show Cara and the rest of the world like what a proper match day feels like. So I'm not sure to get that at Leinster or anywhere in Ireland. So we're going to go DHL Stadium, Cape Town, Greenpoint, and it's going to be special. It's going to be a good one. Sold out. Hopefully the weather plays, which I'm sure it will, and we're gonna have a good time.
I do enjoy how different we say Cara's name, by the way.
The Bulls game. What are we thinking? Is it going to be a bigger turnout? I mean,
the Bulls are after getting in like 5 South African coaches out of nowhere. What's that about? What kind of nepotism is that? Oh, our team's struggling. Let's get in Erasmus, basically. Like, hold on a second now. That's how this works.
Story for another day, Jim. Touchy subject.
All right. Okay. You and touchy subjects over the over this podcast.
But anyway, but that's beside the point. Storm will still beat them, regardless of who's coaching them. Yeah, the Bulls look, great win in the Investec Champions Cup. Last minute, mark my words, Andre Rudolph will be a Springbok this year at the age of, I think he's mid-30s. Has never really had a look into the box ever. And now he's like a journeyman, which is cool. It's going to be another great Springbok story, which Jim, I'm sure, will be very excited to hear.
Just love South Africa and Wales, you know.
but John, I think the Bulls. Look, the Bulls, I think, got to do it, and they have to get the season turning around, and yeah, it has to start now. So I think there's a little bit of desperateness there, which is nice, and they got a little bit of momentum from the Investec Champions Cup. So yeah, happy days for them. I think that weekend.
The Bulls are actually heading over to my home side Ospreys for this Friday. So I'm quite excited to see that. I mean, don't know how the result will be, but I'm
then it's definitely a Bulls win by 43.
You're kidding. Come on.
I'm joking.
43.
It's always way more harsh on me, but here, I'll look past that. Well, I'm very excited for round 10 of the URC, as always, because it means I get to watch rugby again, and I enjoy watching rugby.
Away from the biased opinions of both of your home sides, what games are you most looking forward to?
I actually am really looking forward to Connacht and Leinster. And then, like, from a Connacht perspective, all right? It's in the new stadium. It's not my fault.
Okay, anyway, we're not, Cara, unfortunately, and you will, because now you're a permanent fixture here, you will realize that you can't get a whole lot of sense out of Jim towards the end of the episode. So I think it's maybe time to wrap it up now. Round 10, looking forward, it's going to be amazing. What an awesome chat with Rob from LooseHeadz for this round, mental health round. Yeah, what an amazing time, and some great insights. Jim, last words from you. Keep it short, please.
I just think this podcast has gotten better now. Cara is here to take care of us, so you know.
The nicest thing Jim has said to me all day.
Thank you.
Will be for the rest of the season, probably.